Chitt Chatteros and Chitt Chatteras. I'm your host, Jordan Umba, and today we have an amazing singer, Luisa Santiago. I'm so excited. How excited am I? Because I love this type of things. I love to talk to other musicians and tell me how they started, their whole idea and creation process, the background stories, the inspirations, you name it. And this woman is so talented. I love what she does. She's bold. She's know where she's going. So, Luisa, you there somewhere? Please send me request and we'll talk. Something that I didn't say before earlier. Chitt Chat is for you guys. It's for artists, for designers, for students, everyone. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's grow. Let's learn from each other. Let's create a network. Let's contact. So, without further ado, Luisa, welcome to Chitt Chat. She's connecting.
Hi. How are you?
Chitt Chat, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Muy bien.
Muy bien.
You smiling?
Yes.
Te quedó bien.
Oh my God. So, Luisa, tell me, how is your whole COVID-19 lockdown experience? Are you getting on?
It was a mixture of things. I haven't been through such a roller coaster in, I don't think, ever, because the beginning was very difficult, especially personally. I was going through something very personal, and obviously the lockdown did not help to deal with, and people can be going through many things that we don't even know about, which is so important to always make sure your friends are okay. Always get to call them, just say está bien. So it was difficult, but it was the beginning of a process that I've been falling in love with since it started. And the reason is because I have seen growth in every aspect: personal, professional, spiritual, emotional. So the whole, it's been amazing. If anything, I'm actually falling in love with the process more. I'm not saying that I want to be stuck in quarantine forever, but it's golden time. I think we should definitely take advantage.
So let me just ask, I always say, let me go straight to the point. Who is Luisa?
Who is Luisa? Well, a lot of my friends will know me as now a girl who's very really quiet and timid. So some people say no, she's not. I think I'm a bit of everything, I'd say. So facts would be, I was born in Colombia. I come from a musical father, and my family involves my mother, my dad, my brother, and myself. So the four of us. I was born in Colombia, so was my brother. We came here when I was 3 years old. So quite British in that sense. And musical father helped me with the, discover my love for music in that sense. Grew up in South London. I've been a Peckham girl for a long time. Whoa. Ali. And yeah, no, it's just been, the question will be, what would you like to know about me? Because there's just so much to say.
No, that's my first question, because I feel that sometimes when we say who are we, people don't, people see a different perspective from you, and I think that is the best definition of yourself if you say it. That's why I always ask that question.
Right.
Who are you? You're right, because I can think I can present you and say, oh, she's this, she's that, but I want to know who are you? Who's you? You know what I mean? It's kind of like a in within. But
yeah.
Talk to me about music. How this whole love towards music starts, where everything started.
It's a good question. Well, if you was to ask me who is Luisa, and I would give you a professional, or say like the professional answer would be, I am Luisa Santiago, Colombian-born singer, pianist, composer, songwriter, lover of everything, lover of food, travel, and that would be my, you know, with that kind of pizzazz of just fusion in things, the love of R&B and soul and funk and Latin, putting it all together. That's what you would get from Luisa. My love for music came, like I said, at a very, very young age. I was, you know, my dad, he's a musician. A lot of my colleagues have played with my father. He's a very well known in the community as a percussionist. So I grew up with the love of rhythms, conga sounds, African, Afro-Cuban, Afro-Colombian. Well, my dad's he's a fully lover of just Colombian salsa and vallenato, which is like, you know. So I grew up with all that stuff. And but funny enough, my first ever audience I had was in church. You know, like a lot of the girl, you know, a lot of the artists, some artists, they have their experience through being as a part of the team, part of the worship team. So when I was young, I was about, oh God, how old was I? 10, 7, 10? At that age, I was exposed to my first audience around that time when I was 10. But when I was 7, I started playing the piano. So I wasn't even a singer back then. I just knew how to, my dad wanted me to play piano, and very, very disciplined with it. You know, he really wanted me to, if I didn't do any homework, you know, it wouldn't be good news for me, basically, in other words. But I thank him for it, you know, because it really did help me put that discipline in. And so I grew up in church. Literally, church was the place for me to really explore the stage. I started off playing second keys. So there was a main guy playing the piano, and I would be the one either doing the synths or the pads or like little horn sounds, and then I got moved up to doing backing vocals there and then, right? So then bit by bit, they would be giving me, you know, little bits of more responsibility bit by bit, because they saw I could handle it. And that was my scene for the next 6 years. And then slowly, you know, the gigs, I'd say my first actual paid gig was probably when I was, not even long ago, it was about when I was 17. So we're talking 13 years ago. I've just given away my age, haven't I? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that was for the embassy of Ecuador. In Elephant and Castle, they had this special kind of event, small place, but it was really nice. It was my first gig ever, and I remember I got paid. I didn't get paid much. I got paid like 50 quid, and I lost the 50 quid because it fell out of my pocket. You won't believe it. The only thing I used was to buy a Rubicon mango, you know, one of those little Rubicon mango juices, and then I just lost the money. I was like, oh my God, my first one. But yeah, no, that it started very, very young. You learn when you go through these things.
Talk to me about the feeling. You know, that feeling when you are standing in front of your first audience. How you feel?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it was. If anything, that really served me as my training ground, even with embarrassing moments and all sorts. I remember one time when I was. There's a moment when you're like in a very special time with the worship, let's say, where everyone's praying and there's beautiful music in the background and stuff. I don't know what happened, but my finger accidentally slipped on the drum fill button. It went and everyone was like, you know, everyone's supposed to be like they're in the zone, just like, you know, being thankful and praying, and all of a sudden, and I didn't know where to hide, you know. But those things, yeah, but it was. I mean, I'm laughing at it now. Yeah. It was embarrassing back then. But I felt a lot of emotion in terms of, it was training your nerves. When you go on stage and you train your nerves, even now, like sometimes I get nervous depending on the, you know, what's happening, you know. And I think it's nice that you still have those kind of human emotions where you're still nervous, where you get these little butterflies, because it just shows you that you're alive. It's not like if you don't feel it, you know, don't feel bad about it, but it's just, it's what music does. It just really churns your insides. And sometimes when you're singing a song or when you're playing a song and then you get covered by an emotion, especially if you're singing and you get touched by an emotion, it can actually be very difficult to sing with a certain technique. You just get so drawn into the emotion part. So the technical stuff, gets left out the window. But it's a beautiful thing because they see rawness, people see humanness, they see relatability. And so when I was growing up, I was experiencing all these things for the first time, and it's a beautiful thing. And I don't think I'll ever stop feeling these things on stage, It's all part of the package.
That I didn't ask, because obviously with your dad's influence in your music, you always wanted to become a musician, or is something that you felt for a while that you needed to do because it was in the family?
No, I mean, I was 7. I was 7 years old when my dad got me to start playing on the keys. Well, he gave me he hired a Cuban pianist, a woman. Her name Marieta. I'll never forget her. And she was my first ever teacher. She taught me how to sight read. She taught me the classical stuff. She taught me the techniques, the posture, And then I don't know what happened. 3 years later, she disappeared. I don't know where she went. I don't know. Still not sure what happened. I never saw her again. And then after that, I had another teacher who was teaching me harmony and just a different aspect of what music is. But when I was younger, I remember saying I wanted to be a vet because I love animals. I wanted to be an artist because I love to draw. I never really, the academic stuff didn't really interest me, like math, science, English. I never forget, these are not really my thing. All the creative stuff really I was pulling towards more. So it was all to do with the animals and stuff. And then I realized, actually, I don't really want to be a vet because that means I'll have to handle like snakes. And if somebody brings me someone like, look after my snake, I'm like, nah, I don't want to. I'll be a terrible vet. So it wasn't until my dad exposed me to this, and then I realized this is nice. And then the funny thing is, though, because he's a musician, the moment that I told him that I wanted to take music full time, he got nervous. He got really nervous. Like I was expecting a different reaction from him, thinking, yes, like she's gonna follow my footsteps and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But actually he got very nervous, and I think it was to do with maybe what women go through in the musical, in the industry. It can be quite difficult for us. So he was like, are you sure you don't want to take it as a hobby? I said, no, this is your fault anyways. You put me in this. Now I'm going to follow it. Do you know what I mean? But no, he's been great. I mean, we play a lot together. It's so nice to play with your father, with your mother, or with a friend, or with a brother, or someone in the family. But me and my dad have that thing in common where we can play together and just enjoy each other's company. We have that in common.
Talk to me about preschool of performing arts. How that everything started.
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
You were trained, obviously, like that Cuban lady. Then your dad brought you another teacher, and then you felt that you needed to go to a proper school, like a professional school, or
I didn't even. Do you know what? The Brit School is the only free performing arts college in the country. Colleges, I think they had to. Yeah, this is from what I was reading. You can only get through an audition, and out of the audition, you think, I'm going to say number 2,000. Let's say 2,000 students fill in an application to get in, and out of those 2,000, 200 get chosen to audition, and out of those 200, 20 get chosen to be in the class. So it's quite a big filter, and to be honest, the year before, not even the year before, probably less than maybe 9 months before I applied for it, I didn't even know it existed. But it wasn't until my music teacher in school, in secondary school, she said to me, why don't you try this out? A friend of mine also said, oh, I'm applying for it. Why don't you apply? And funny enough, we both got in, my friend and I. So I remember the day that I got that letter. Like a letter came in, Luisa, this is for you, and it said Brit School on it. And I was like, it's like that moment of results, thinking. And I think I still have that letter. It's here somewhere. But seeing it and then reading the first line, congratulations, that first word, congratulations, I was like, oh my God, I don't even need to read the rest. It's there. Yeah, and it was difficult because I remember my audition was I had imagine like the same setup of X Factor or Britain's Got Talent. You have judges, and then you have the audience, but the audience are the students as well that are auditioning with you, right? So that first audition was very interesting because there was a piano and there was a keyboard. The piano was out of tune, very out of tune, but yet everybody who was a piano player would go on the piano, and they you know, it would sound like it was out of tune, but they still showed that their ability to do things, right? When it was my turn, I said, you know, I can't play on this out of tune piano because I'm singing as well. If I play out of tune, I'll be singing out of tune, and I don't want that. So I went on the keyboard, and I was the only person who chose the keyboard. For some reason, that really stood out for the panel. Just the fact that you chose the keyboard instead of the piano just shows that you pay attention to detail and this and that. And nevertheless, I had a great audition. I did an Alicia Keys song, one of her many famous ones. It was great, and yeah, it was wonderful. Honestly, one of the best experiences in my life for my development as a musician, as a creative, has been in the Brit School. And I would recommend anybody who has a child who is interested in the arts, whether it's music, art, drama, dance, acting, musical theater, even technical theater, which is to do with stage setups and you know, like, you know, planning with a big team, is great. Honestly, it was an amazing time. Yeah.
Great. And talk to me about Glastonbury Festival, 2007, 2008. Glastonbury.
Oh, Glastonbury. Yeah. That actually came out of the Brit School.
What?
So, yeah, it actually came out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So amazing school. What happened was it was the first year that Brit School were called from the festival to perform at the festival. They hadn't done it before, and they were choosing specific students. I don't know what the requirements were, but I think you had to be, you know, you had to stand out, basically. So we had year 12 and year 13. So year 12, we're talking about 16, 17-year-olds, and then year 13, 17, 18-year-olds. It was mainly addressed to the year 13, but there were 2 students from year 12, so the year below, that were chosen to go with the big group, and that was me and a good friend of mine who I love very much. We're still in touch. She's amazing. So we had that experience, and they organized a salsa workshop actually prior to that. So they brought my dad in, they brought Lorance, who's a good old friend of ours from the family, and they grabbed the drummers and they taught them timbales and congas. They grabbed the piano players, they taught them tumbaos. They grabbed the bass players, they taught them all everything. These students had never played salsa before in their life, ever. And obviously I was the only one who could sing Spanish, so they grabbed me as the singer, and then everybody else, basically, we formed a band in Glastonbury, and we had about, it was one of the tents, we had maybe, at that time, probably about 5,000 people, which sounds like, I mean, compared to what Glastonbury can hold, is a small percentage, but the at that time and at that stage in our lives, it was a big, you know, it was quite a big milestone. Then they called us back the next year. You know, the next year, and they called me again and my friend again, but they chose certain people. And again, it was beautiful. We did Latin, ska. You know, ska is beautiful because ska is like, it's like hyperventilated reggae, you know? Like a lot of energy.
Feeling. Like we were in that feeling, you know, where, you know, you first in church, then we have your first performance. How you felt in Glastonbury? Tell me, you know, how you felt.
Oh yeah, you know, when you that saying where, you know, the nerves are gonna eat me alive. Literally, I couldn't have been more petrified. And I remember feeling just before I went on stage, I remember I've never been that nervous before in my life. So I was like really, and my teacher saw me. He grabbed me by my shoulders. She was like, "You got this." He said to me, "He's like, you're gonna do great." And as soon as he said that, okay, the moment the nerves went was the moment that I actually stepped on stage and the first word came out, or the first song, the first word, the first lyric came out. As soon as that happened, I'm telling you, it's like you forget about everything else. You just live in the moment, and I'm sure you know, you know what it's like. You know, we all, it's
Definitely. That's
so
why
it's
I'm
that
asking
little
you, 'cause I love
turning.
to share.
Yeah, no, it's that turning butterfly feeling that you get before, which makes you human. Like I was saying, like it reminds you of that you're passionate about it, that you take it seriously, and that you're so emotionally connected to your craft that
Yeah.
you produce these amazing, whatever it is, melodies, harmonies, lines, emotions, whatever it is, the lyrics, everything. So we would do, yeah. So that, oh God, if I remember this feeling, I can actually go back and actually remember that nerve, and actually I can feel nervous right now. That's how
Yeah.
funny it is. But yeah, no, that was great, honestly. And afterwards, the feeling after is, it's like you're on cloud nine. You're like you just had the biggest high or the biggest adrenaline rush. You're just up on the clouds, and it's great.
Oh, I love it. Talk to me about Beats Behind Bars. What's that project? I promise you, when I was
Yeah,
checking your biography, I felt like was it a beautiful thing, but I really want you
yeah,
to explain to
yeah,
us
yeah, yeah.
what the project about. But it sounds like a beautiful thing. Talk to us about that.
Yes, yeah. That's a very. It's emotional. It's personal. It's beautiful because I found about a year and a half ago, just almost, yeah, about a year and a half ago, I found a sense of connection with the prison community, right? And I say it because I, as well as many of my friends, I'm sure at some stage, some of us have been directly affected by a loved one either being taken to prison, or you being imprisoned yourself, or knowing somebody that has been imprisoned, right? So my connection to it was personal because I had somebody that I love very, very much who was had gone through it, and my love for that connection, that connection with the community was just so I couldn't understand it, right? So God had put me a plan in my heart to create this project called Beats Behind Bars, which is basically an opportunity for the prison communities, the inmates, to be able to express themselves freely in the midst of their loved ones and their family members or their friends when they come to visit them, for example. The idea would be to create a stage, a performance, like they're literally going to a show, so that they can be with their families and perform, because I know a lot of them write. There's some amazing talents, like, and using their own experiences and stuff. So imagine a prisoner having lyrics, or actually them having that facility to express with a full band behind them, with a house band behind them, and then being able to spit bars, right? How to do administration. I could do that, and I could learn how to be a good administrative, whatever, officer, assistant. Or I could delegate someone who was great at it and use the time that I was going to use to focus on my strengths and share this vision with somebody. Literally, you are opening your door to be vulnerable with a person. So what happens is the dream grows. It gets shared. So then it becomes more visible. It becomes more physical. And when you share your dream as something that you're not attached to, but you want it to grow, you bring, literally, God puts the right people in your place. Like this guy that all of a sudden just came out of the sky, and he was helping me with this, and I had a friend who amazingly drew the logo and the design of the website. I don't know how to do that. I could have done a course, but it's not my calling. It's not my thing. You know what I mean? I can focus on the music part, the musicians part, the philanthropy part, I guess, the part that really does
That you're so passionate
strengthen.
about.
Yeah. I mean, that just means you're being diligent with your time, and everything that you do just comes so beautifully, easily. That's why it's so important to have a vision and a dream. And this Beats Behind Bars thing is it's been growing. I did leave it to the side for a while. I kind of paused it because I was going through personal turmoil at some point, and Unfortunately, it stopped the process. It paused it. It didn't stop it. It paused it. So what's happening now with everything that I'm going through, the whole quarantine thing, the whole, becoming a better you, and all that sense, and actually reviving that fire that I had about it. It's come back to life, which is amazing. And not long ago, before the quarantine, I was playing in a prison, and I didn't plan it. Do you know what I mean? I went there to assist a friend who was working with the prisoners, you say, like a course or something, And I saw a guy with a guitar, and I saw there was a keyboard there, and I said, "Would you like me to help you?" And the guy said he was a bit reluctant because he doesn't know this girl. What if she plays crap, or what if she, But he was asking me questions, and I said, "Yeah, just let me see if I can help you." Gave me the book, played the songs. It was great. I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know this was going to happen today." That's just, yeah, it's a heavenly thing. I think it's a beautiful thing, to be honest.
Talk to me about Cuba. What about that trip to Cuba that you
Cuba.
and then you led to in Mexico and all that
Yeah,
that happened to you?
yeah. Well, I mean, I love traveling. I love traveling so much. I find it that it heals. It does something to yourself. When you travel by yourself, you come back in love with yourself more, knowing what you like, knowing what you don't like. You become such an independent person, and it's beautiful. When you travel with somebody, it does something special to that relationship. It either makes it or breaks it. So like, you either become so connected. It could be anybody, friend, a brother, and traveling really does connect. You just get to know the person. When I went to Cuba, it was Cuba, wasn't it? Yeah, in January. I went to Cuba, and with the intention, and it was absolutely beautiful to grow professionally, to grow in my piano playing, in my singing, in every aspect. There was a festival that was happening. It's called the Jazz Plaza Fest, and I was asked to do backing vocals to open the festival. And I hadn't realized that the festival had major artists from Cuba that I didn't know I was going to do backing vocals for. We're talking about Los Bamban, we're talking about Mayito Rivera, Alain Perez, we're talking about Brenda Navarrete, we're talking about a whole lot of other artists that they were just there, and it was like, God, this just came out of nowhere as well. I'm thinking, wow, what it did was that it opened up my fire for seeing the hunger in Cuba in terms of the music, and how they breathe music, and children, as young as the ages of 7, and how they're just amazing, because the love and the passion for the arts over there. In Colombia, we have that, but not to. I'm going to be honest, not to the extent of what I saw in Cuba. Okay. Because when you live and you breathe music, and that's all you have, I mean, no wonder you've got all these little fiery drummers, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And Mexico was we did a music video, for one of my singles that we're working on at the moment to get out. So that was also a beautiful coincidence. It was gorgeous. The beaches, we got some beach scenes as well. So that's I was trying to make sure that I had the right beach body, just making sure I was doing good exercise. But yeah, beautiful, really gorgeous. Yeah, I'm here at Mexico. You have to, at some point, if anybody hasn't ever gone to Mexico, it's Cancun. Cancun is very populated, but 40 minutes down or 40 minutes up, you get the most beautiful beaches that you'll see.
Luisa, what can I say? I mean, I'm so excited to have you here. I feel so grateful. You just give it so much peace. I know you're going through a lot of things, but I promise you, I can see it shining. I can see it in you. I can see that all those, things that are happening in you are evolving, and I love it, because trust me, it's getting here. So I just want to know, where can we find your music? You know, someone that, because I see you perform, I've seen you before, and I really loved it. But where can we find your music?
Thankfully, the quarantine has actually given me the space, the time, and the focus to work on the music that that will be put up. Unfortunately, I don't have anything on YouTube at the moment. I've actually been using Instagram as my means of marketing or advertising. Hardly use Facebook much, but it is. All I can say is stay tuned. Follow me on my page, and you will see the things that we've been putting up lately. We've been working with some amazing friends who, everyone's in their own house doing the video, and then it comes together, and it's just so beautiful because everybody knows what they're doing, and they're also passionate about what they're doing, and it comes together. So we're doing a lot of that stuff, and some originals as well. So at the moment, I think this is going to be the cooking time, So when the final plate comes out, I will scream it up to the heavens and let you all know when it all comes out.
Be right here waiting with open arms for you. Before you go, please, let me talk to the Chitt Chatteros. You guys know you have a square down there in the screen, with the question mark. Questions for Luisa, please, please, please. Right there. I got one. 1 second. Okay. How do you think okay, let me just put it together because I didn't know.
Sure.
Okay. How do you think the feeling will be when you go back to the stage after quarantine? How you think you're gonna feel? Because as you say, you're growing a lot. So many things are happening to you. Is any expectations that you have? Any plan? How are you seeing that comeback after quarantine?
I was worried about it. I was worried about it before, but then I realized I don't have control over anything that's going on. So if I don't have control over something, why am I going to worry about it? One of the things that I was worrying about was, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to start from scratch. There's going to be, the venues that we play at, sometimes, they're not going to have money, so they're not going to call us. I'm getting worried because I live off music. I live off by what I play and what I sing. That's how I pay my bills, and that's it. So I was getting really, really worried, but I had a revelation thinking, if I have control over something, then okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If I don't have control over something, then okay, don't worry about it, because either way, you can't do anything about it. Even as in the sense of there's no need to stress. So actually, my feelings right now, if you'd asked me that question maybe a month ago, I would have said I'm a bit nervous about not having work, that I'm not going to be able to make my ends meet. I've got bills to pay and stuff. I might have to get a job and all that stuff. And you ask me now, and I say literally, I couldn't be more relaxed, because what is coming, and what is not coming is not coming. And because I don't have control, all I have is faith, that Father will provide. In that sense, I'm fine, and I'll just let it be what will be. So if anything, I'm just excited for the unknown, for not knowing what's coming.
Let me just go a few questions here. Let me see. Did you face any issues being a woman in the Latin music scene in London?
Yes. And I think a lot of my female colleagues would probably say the same thing. Unfortunately, I'm hoping that mentality is changing, but we are still struggling with being taken seriously in that sense. And also, I haven't had the experience that a lot of my friends have had. I haven't had any issues of sexual harassment, for example, whether it be minimal or grand. But I have seen and I have heard also elements of being uncomfortable. There's a lot of yeah, feeling uncomfortable and not knowing how to respond when you're, let's say, for example, performing with let's say a group of men. Let's say you're the only woman, for example. You got to know, I've always had to make sure that I've laid my ground from the get-go. Yeah. Make sure what I'm capable of accepting, what is acceptable to me and what isn't, and they get it. People get it. So I've had to literally put my foot down in a lot of situations. So that's made me a bit uncomfortable in the sense that I have to do that. Why do I have to do that? But hey, if it has to be done, it has to be done, you know? So yeah, I mean, that's why one of the reasons why my dad was a bit nervous when I told him I wanted to get into music. He knows what it's like. He knows what, you know, what I'd be exposed to.
To be there always for you.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. And actually, one of the situations I had one day with my dad, he's playing, I'm singing, this and that, and you know, I get some attention from some people, and some of them are more subtle than others, some of them are not. And my dad he's a musician, but first and foremost, he's a father. Yeah. Right? So he has that kind of wanting, and actually not feeling maybe a bit of, what's that word when you can't do anything about something, when you feel, you know what I mean? When like
hopeless in a way, you know, like
hopeless. Yeah, no? Hopeless. So because obviously if he reacts, I may get in trouble because maybe the gig's under my name, so he feels hopeless in that sense. And I have to just reassure him, don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Relax. We'll make it out. Yeah. Yeah, incluso I don't know if many people know, but I don't know if many people know. Somebody might not know, but I was married before, and I used to perform with my husband, and that was interesting. That was harder. Yeah, that was harder. But like I said, you know, with the experience you learn and you input, you know, what you learn. So.
You got another question. What are your future musical plans, Luisa? What's your...
Good question.
No, really, chateros are here for you.
Oh my God, guys, you asking good questions. And if you know, let me know, because I don't know. I mean, to be honest, my goal at the moment is, I mean, I'm not somebody that like kind of visualizes 10 years from now. I would like to, maybe I can if I really make it up, but my mentality usually works as the next week or tomorrow, you know, a short-term kind of. So when I'm focusing on my short-term milestones, then I see visions of things. If I was to jump 5 years from now, I mean, obviously, I would love to pack a stadium out. Oh, that would be amazing. I think we all want that. I think, you know, we pack out stadiums and just share and express the music and stuff. I think I am hopeful and I am faithful that the Beats Behind Bars project is going to have its place out there. And if that happens, I am more than happy. You know what I mean? Because it is something that would have been well, I think when it comes to pass, it will be excellent. I mean, personally, I just want to keep on playing. I just want to keep on practicing, keep on building my knowledge, collaborate with people, perform with people, you know, just open doors at some point, see how it all happens. No. I wish I knew.
But that's exactly what sorry, because I'm putting this on because some people say they cannot hear me properly. But I think that's exactly why. No, that's what you said. The whole process and this whole I'm gonna quote you, this beautiful golden time, as you call it, that we have, right? To grow, to learn from each other, to be more creative, write new things, and find ourselves, you know, a new us in a way, right? And Luisa, but just because we have to go, but before you go, I know, sorry, I'm gonna put you in a little bit, I know I didn't ask you, but I see an amazing musician. I see a keyboard over there. Do you think that maybe
So,
just
I've been asking, you want to play
maybe
something?
just
You want me to
please,
play
that would
something?
be an
Okay.
honor to us.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, I know, guys. I didn't ask. I'm being naughty, but this is an one in a lifetime opportunity to chit chat. So,
All right, here
Luisa
we go.
Santiago,
Oh gosh. Let's see if we can see.
if it's okay, if it's okay.
Yeah, no. Well, you put me on the spot now, so.
So, chichateros, let me get out and let her perform for us.
Okay. Let's see. Alto está cielo en el mundo, por hondo que sea más profundo, no habrá nada más del mundo que mi amor profundo no pueda romper. Amor es el pan de la vida. Amor es la capa divina. Amor es un algo sin nombre que obsesiona al hombre por un amor. Estoy obsesionada contigo y al mismo destino de vida en ese más que se opongan al destino, será para mí, por alto del cielo del mundo. Obsesión, mi chino, ay, no habrá una barrera en el mundo que mi amor profundo no rompa por ti. Ah, la, 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 da, 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 no habrá una barrera al mundo que mi amor profundo no rompa por ti. Agua, agua, agua.
Agua, señores, agua. Luisa Santiago.
Bueno, ahí va. Mira cómo me pone así.
Luisa, sorry I put you in the spot, but I'm sorry.
Me preparo para la próxima.
No,
Gracias.
this talent, you're always great. You're always great. Thank you so much for such a beautiful artist, such a beautiful voice, such a beautiful soul. I love your initiative, your project, your passion, your driven. You're amazing. So
Thank
please
you.
don't ever give up, because we're gonna be here supporting you. Everything that you have, we're gonna put in our page. We're gonna be there.
Oh, amazing.
And once everything goes back to normal, we'll
Yeah.
definitely be doing things together. So
Yeah.
an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
A ti, mi amor.
Bendición.
Igual. Well, chichateros, Luisa Santiago, what can I say? Today, it's been a really nice chit chat show. But Tomorrow we have more. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And you know where we are. Monday to Friday in Chitt Chat, Instagram. I'm Jordan Amba. Good evening, Chitt Chatteros!